Hello and welcome to Doom Does DVD, and this is Disney Classics number 55, Moana. This is one I haven't actually seen before, but it's one I seem to have, heard mentioned a lot. But despite the fact that I've heard it mentioned a lot, I realise I don't actually know anything about the story here. You get good vibes and you get positive vibes and you hear about the production, but you never get a lot of detail about what actually happens for some reason. And that's actually a good thing, because generally I prefer to go into new things spoiler free. The only thing I truly know about this is the involvement of Lin-Manuel Miranda writing the songs. And while he is super famous, for having written Hamilton and being generally one of those cool internet guys, I haven't actually seen or heard Hamilton, or, as far as I'm aware, anything else he has written. So while I know that the general public generally considers him to be good, I've not experienced that personally yet. I do also know that he's been invited back to work on Disney Classics number 60, although unless Disney do another UK-only release like The Wild, it's going to end up being number 59 here. But you generally don't get invited back to do another one if your first one wasn't very good. So despite knowing very little about it, all signs are pointing towards this being one of the good ones. So let's watch and find out if that is actually the case. Okay, yeah, that was pretty cool. Can't say it was absolutely one of my favourites, but I did really enjoy it. You got fun and interesting characters, you got a fun and interesting story, but the standout here for me was really the animation. Although I suppose technically I actually mean the rendering, because it was really the water that was just astonishing. It looked beautiful and warm, it looked like you could dive in, and then to animate it and give it character on top of that, brilliant. And while the fantastic water is the obvious prominent element of the current rendering engine they're using, there's many other great elements: the lava and smoke of the lava monster, the 2D animation of the live tattoos placed on a 3D model, massive improvements in the rendering of hair and how it moves, particularly of course wet hair. The computer rendering engines they're using for this just get exponentially better with every film they release, and get more familiar with these tools and add more features, which kind of make sense since it's one of the most recent ones, but it's definitely the best looking CG Disney film I've seen so far. It seems like a lot of this one has been kind of a massive collaboration, which has always been a Disney animation kind of thing, but it seems to be particularly pronounced for this one. There are a huge amount of story credits, so there's been a lot of contributions to this at different drafts over the years. We've got Musker and Clements as co-directors again, who famously did, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and Princess and the Frog, for example. But apparently this one got so big they also got a couple of co-directors who just finished Big Hero 6 to help them out. Musically, it was interesting to find out that Lin-Manuel Miranda was just hired as one of 3 composers before Hamilton had become famous. He was just one of the crew at that point. He wasn't like this superstar composer that you'd probably consider him to be now. So you've got 8 different writers credited with the story, 4 directors credited, and 3 credited for the music. Even by Disney standards, that seems like more than usual. So there's danger of getting into a kind of too many cooks situation with that kind of thing. But I expect in this case they probably weren't actually all working on it at the same time. Particularly in the writing, that all those credits will have been spread out. Someone will have done the initial draft, someone else will have then edited it, someone else will have then edited it again, rather than, being 8 people just all piling in at once. The interesting side note, this is another one that apparently got title changes in some other countries, although not in the UK in this case. Again, it was a trademark issue. They couldn't get the trademark for Moana in some European countries, so it's changed to Vaiana there. Where Moana means ocean, they have Vai meaning water instead, so it's still similar. But interestingly, of course, this doesn't just change the title of the film, it changes the name of the main character, which is a bit different. And separately, the film is known as Oceania in Italy because there's apparently a famous porn star there named Moana. But why they couldn't go with the Vaianan name there like they had done in some other territories, I'm not entirely sure. Musically, I really enjoyed what I heard, but it just didn't seem to be quite at that top level. It was all well made and fit the story lovely, but it's also fading away the day after having watched it. Less so than plenty of other unmemorable music we've had in the past. I have a feeling this one would stick with a couple more watches, but it wasn't quite as instantly catchy as some of them, so I think that's a key part in keeping it from being one of my absolute favourites, and rather just a really good one. And so that's my main first impression watching Moana for the first time. It was a fun and exciting adventure with absolutely excellent water rendering. I think I probably need to see it another time or two in order to fully appreciate everything that it offers, because I was so wowed by the rendering the first time around. But for now, let's get on with finishing reviewing this box set, which we're nearly at the end of now. What did you think about Moana? As always, tell me about that in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again next week with Ralph Breaks the Internet.